Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I've just decided I'd like to show you one more video for some nice Christmas decoration. So I took one of my little brand new socks and made myself a little pattern for a sock that I want to cut. I wanted another one a touch smaller, so I just went inside that one about 1 centimeter to do another sock pattern that I needed. With those two I cut two pieces, or better to say a pair, of my felt material in the red color. You can see it's each time a pair. And I took, let me put this on the side at the moment, for the bottom of the foot here I cut something in green, and for the front as well, and as well here I cut a pair, of course. The same for the little Santa Claus sock and for this one there. Then I took my zigzag scissors and cut loads of little stripes, which I can put on straight or sideways. You decide how you would like to have them. But I did that in white and red, so it looks like a sugar cane kind. And I don't know if you all know about the Adventskalender, that's what we call it. We like to make little sacks or little socks, whatever, 24 of them, starting with the 1st of December and finishing with 24th of December. That means from the 1st of December to the Holy Night, we have in those 24 days, for every day, a sack, a sock, a bag, where there is a little present in for the one you love or for your children, whatsoever. That's why I'm showing you these as well, how I did the numbers. So I just took some normal paper and kept drawing until I liked it in the way I wanted this number. And there you see, this will be for 1st of December, my first number, the same then for the next one. And that is the reason why I will make them all different sizes, because there's different presents. And it does not necessarily mean that in the smallest one there's the smallest present. You should know that. But I will not stitch them on this side where I have the sugar cane stripes. I will put that on the other side. But I will show that to you while I'm sewing it then. And for the top, as I like to have a little turnover, I, in the same width as the sock is, but in the height of about 6 centimeter, I cut some more stripes for these Santa Claus socks. And as well, I need a little cordle, because this is going to be stitched somewhere there on the end, because I like to hang this one up, either on the tree, or I will put him on an extra cordle as a, oh, I got no idea what you call that, I'm sorry, to hang really on the window or in the door frame. So all my 24 socks with the little presents will be lined up there, who forever they belong then. Alright, that's about all what I can say to this, and I will show you now how I stitch them. And it's so easy, even if you haven't done any sewing whatsoever. Get yourself some felt and just try it with one little sock first and continue. And you will see there's nothing easier than to make your own Adventskalender, as we call it. Okay, here we go. It makes absolutely no difference which ones I'm going to be starting with, but I take now my smaller one. My right side, my good side, is lying in the inside of this pair that I have, and I just lift off the first one with the way I put all my little bits on and divide this first of all. I take the first bit to put on the heel and the front of the sock, and the other one I put underneath, because we gotta make this as a pair to be able to stitch it together. I got white on the top of my sewing machine in
and an 80 thickness. That's mean it's not a very thin yarn, because I want the white to show a little bit while I'm stitching over this. I stitch it in approximately 3-4 millimeters away from the edge, and I only stitch it on the inner side here of this piece of material. Otherwise, when I stitch the sock together, if I would go all the way around now, I would have to keep on going over the same stitches, which I don't want. That's why I'm only fastening it on the inner side towards the sock, as you can see it now. While I'm turning this in the round part, I always have my needle stuck in the bottom in, and so it doesn't move when I lift the foot. And now already I take from this other sock all my little pieces and put them in the position how I would like to stitch them on. As you can see, this is my pair then to put it together. So just put those 2 green pieces on as well. My foot is 5 millimeters on that right side in the width, also on the left side, and I just let it run more or less along the green edge of the felt material, maybe a touch smaller. So as I said, that I have a 3-4 millimeter seam standing over, as you can see it there on the round part. And that's all for the first preparation there. I clean it off right away. Whenever I have a little thread hanging over, I cut it off right away. I like to work tidy, otherwise at the end you got lots and lots of threads to cut off. I do it while I'm going along. Now those stripes for my sugarcane look, I cut quite thin, as you can see. Therefore it is not necessary to stitch it on both sides of the stripe. That's why I'm just going to go right through the middle and go along it and stitch it on there. The same with all the next ones. I decide which distance I want between all of them. They can be different because also on a sugar cane it's not so exact when you look at one. And I continue there approximately the same distance right through the middle, stitched on. I do have a zigzag scissors which I cut this with, but if you don't have one, you can also cut it straight and then maybe stitch it on with your zigzag machine. Then you get a similar effect anyway. But as my household machine just gave up its job recently, so I got no zigzag machine. So I got to help myself. Or if you have a machine that doesn't have a zigzag stitch, then you just do it the way I do it. It is not necessarily that you need a zigzag for this. And here, as this felt likes to stretch and push and pull, I take my trick again by using a little pattern which I put under my foot next to the needle, and then nothing will stretch or move over. So far you can see that's already all my stripes on. This bit hangs over a bit, so we cut it off. As simple as that. All right, here we come to the next step, and therefore I put these little turnovers on. Look for the left or the right side, although on the felt one is a little bit more rough, but it doesn't even show if by accident you put that on the wrong way. Nobody else would know besides you. And I only have this covering over by about 7-8 millimeters, and I stitch through the middle to have this held onto, and I do exactly the same. There is my left side, as I just shown this. Like I say, it's more rough on that side. The other one is more smooth, and I want the smooth side to turn over onto the sock then. That's why I'm stitching it on that way. Again, they're 7-8 millimeters over, only overlaying each other, and right through the middle I stitch this on. All right. Now, you don't need to put numbers on if you don't want to, but as I said, I like to make this Adventskalender calendar out of it. And before I put this number 1 in position, I think, how far will my turnover be from the top of the sock? And that's when I place it then. Don't push it up to the top and then you don't want it there. Now this is slightly wider than my little stripes, and therefore I will stitch it all the way around on. And as I don't want this number 1 to be moved or stretched or anything, that's why the long sides I do with my template again, so it really stays exactly in that position right there. And there you go, all the way around already. That means we're ready to stitch those 2 parts together, unless you would like to put some stripes on the other side on there as well. This is all up to you. Now I also want to put that cordle in the top in. Now you got to think exactly where would you like to have this cordle, how long do you want it, because that depends on where would you like to hang it. Is it just a hook somewhere, or you put another cordle through the middle through, and how long should it hang out? And that's the approximate length you will cut this first before you stitch it on. We could put it on there. I have to think about this. How should I do this? How should I make this? And how will it be then the correct way to hang out? Now watch this, because when I did this in German language first, that's why I'm over talking at the moment on this, I was doing a wrong thought. And you will see this in a moment. Although it always, certain things when you're sewing, looks natural and you think, that's the way I got to stitch this on. And then you got it on and want to finish it and you think, oops, what did I do wrong here? Well, but first of all, we concentrate on this. I again do a seam of approximately 5 millimeters all the way around. Now, if you don't want that red there on the heel and on the front of the sock to show out, then you just have to slightly cut it away, which you can do and which I will show to you on the second sock. But you can also leave it just in there. It makes it nice and thick on the front and on the heel, but you could cut it out. Maybe you have a machine that doesn't like to go over thick and many materials, then you should cut it out. But as I said, I show it to you on the second sock anyway. So now I just continue all the way around until my sock with those 2 parts is totally closed up here. There we go. And now I mentioned I'm putting this cordle on. You can cut it first or you can stitch it on and then cut it off. Okay, I decide I cut it now. That's the length I want. Now you can watch me and you can think, is this correct what she's doing there? Because I thought I was correct. I kept on working, and now in a moment I see, whoops, I did a mistake. But that doesn't matter. I could have cut this out in the video, but I wanted to show you, although this looks correct now, if I wouldn't turn this over. But if I turn this over, no, I'm not going to say that word. You see, it's in the wrong position. Therefore, okay, I take this off again, this little loop. And as well, I will make a little hole in the seam that I have there on the top of my sock, because I have to push it inside to then have to have it outside. So it's enough if you open up 3-4 stitches. That's plenty, of course, from both sides. Now you take your loop, you push it inside that hole you just made in the position where on the right side then you want it to come out. That looks better, Lilo. I was dreaming then when I did that. But as I said, I didn't want to cut it out. I wanted to show you how quickly you can do something wrong as well. And I'm the same way as you. Anything can happen. And now you can see that's exactly how I wanted this, with this loop to be on the top to hang on anything that I want to. And you can put it on your tree by showing the number or not, or put a name maybe on, put the first letter of a name on if you don't want to make this Advents calendar with 24 different numbers. So once, just to repeat everything, we do exactly the same with the other sock. So again, I divided them by putting the underneath one down with my right side facing me here. Those parts I put underneath for later to turn them, and I got there the right side showing, looking at me. Same here. I only stitch the inner side part on. The other one I leave open. And on the heel exactly the same. I just go around this little curve there, and finished it is that part. Now I transfer over my stripes and again decide if I want them sideways or straight or totally different or another one. You must look how you think that your eyes like to look at it, because fashion is a matter of opinion and not what somebody tells me what is nice. You gotta like it. That's the main thing. It's the same with clothes. Some say, oh, this is not in fashion anymore. Does it matter? If I like it, if I like myself in a certain dress and a certain blouse, it's my decision and nobody else's. There are so many people walking around with some stuff, and they get somewhere in the press a notice how great they look with it. You couldn't walk around with that sometimes in real. So put on what you like, not what the others like. And that's the same with these little socks. Making them exactly as you like them to give away as presents. And here I show you what I said to you before. If it's too thick for you on that roundabout down there, then just cut a little bit of the red felt off, and it also will not look out then. And you saw my stripes here. They were a little bit wider as well as the ones on the little sock, which I only stitched through the middle ones. But here this is too wide. That's why I will stitch along both sides, but very small in this case, not on a 3-4 millimeter distance. I take my template, so this really stays super in position for me, exactly as I wish. Now so I don't need to turn the sock. I only do the first side there first. Now I will turn the sock and I stitch along the other side. And there it's not necessary to use the template because it's held very well down already for me. There we go. You see how quickly you can make these little presents for anybody that should get a present from you. Again, here's my little turnover. That's the way I want it. That's my proper right side there, so I turn it over. You could also stitch it on the top. That doesn't matter. As you turn it over, you won't see that anyway. But I like to, or prefer to put it underneath. Make it straight. Yep. And here we go. And I gotta put the two little green bits on the heel and the front of the foot on first. But make sure you're making this as a pair so you can stitch it together properly. Just a 3-4 millimeter seam there. That's all it takes. Yep, that's it. Cut all the hanging over threads off so you're tidy, clean working. And here as well, I show you, just take a little bit of the red off to make this heel a little bit thinner. Of course, it's not as warm then for Santa Claus, huh? Less material, less heat that can store up. And I want my number 2 on there. Now again, first I put my top on so I can see in which height I like to stitch it on. Very important, because I don't want to cover it over when that is folded down. Now you can put it on straight or sideways. Yes, I think I like to put it on sideways. It's not so boring looking. Everyone can look a little bit different. It doesn't matter. That's why it's handmade. the best you can get. And also on this one, I stitch all the way around, as this is quite a wide piece there on the number 2 that I cut. And I slowly go around every curve. On this, you can use a template if you see it's pushing or pulling too much. But if you do it stitch by stitch like I do, and I push a little bit under with my fingers always again, it also stays in position, and I got no problems with this. And here we are at the end already. That's it. Poof, finished. Okay, let's stitch this sock, put it together. Yep. And it doesn't matter if you got to turn the other way and would stitch over from the other side. That doesn't matter either. But now we should not forget to do this little loop. Cut it in the lengths you want it. And now, what did I do wrong last time? I didn't push it in between the 2 pieces. So let's do it correct now, right away. So I don't like to open seams up. I like to stitch them and finished. Don't fiddle around. That I don't like. No, I'm really not I don't like to do repairs. When my husband comes and says, "Oh, I need a new zipper in the jeans," well, that's a job. I tell you, I'd rather stitch a complete new pair of the jeans than just changing that zipper. And that's the same with little jobs like with these socks. Rather take your time and don't have to open the seam. That's much better. Oh, put always nicely edge on edge. And here you can see it's not as thick on the bottom, and then my red material will not show out at all. I can nicely push it exactly edge on edge and evenly go around all the edge with my contrast white 80 yarn that I got on my machine on, and make sure there's nothing standing over at the end of the sock either. And here you are, finished on that side as well. Now we put it over our little fold over sock, and there's our little loop. And you got the first 2 pairs, or not 2 pairs, sorry. You got the first 2 socks finished for the 1st December and the 2nd December. You can hang them anywhere you want. Make your decision if you would like to make really 24 to hang on a chain next to the Christmas tree, on the window, in your door frame. And enjoy all your friends, all your family with the lovely things that you made for them. Hang them that way on the tree so they don't see the number, that they have to search for their presents if they want them. It's up to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed my short little next Christmas video. I'm looking forward to some nice comments from you, and I wish you much luck, much fun with all the jobs you do. And let's put it that way. I wish you a Merry Christmas. And I say goodbye. Hopefully soon again. Tschüss.